Hey Psychthoghts fans, coming to you again from the office to talk to you today about some cool things and cool facts in psychology that you probably didn't know, might not want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And today, make sure that if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and like this video. And send it to other people. Send it to people that you don't like to torture them with it. And I got thinking, what can I talk about today? And so then most of the time I started thinking about what is it that psychologically has been on my mind, and I started thinking about the things that I have missed so much during this pandemic. Yeah, I miss sitting with my friends, sitting close enough that you could share secrets, I miss actually hugging some people, and I do mention some. But I do miss the closeness because, there's nothing like when you talk to somebody and they shake your hand or they pat you on the back that, I really miss out on that physical touch. And so I got thinking that's what we should talk about today on Psychthoghts. We should talk a little bit about the power of touch. But yet, why don't we talk about the power of a stranger's touch? Oh, this sounds inappropriate. This could be bad. Who knows? Maybe we might learn a few things about ourselves and some stuff that could maybe help you make more money if you're in a certain profession. So sit back, relax, and let's see what we have to learn. I know what you're thinking. This sounds very unethical. We're going to talk about stranger's touch, Doug? I don't know about that. But how do we do that? What are we talking about? I guess the big thing we want to talk about is that when we run into people, or let's say that we accidentally brush up against people, have we ever had that electricity feel? Have you ever had a stranger just reach for the same book and like in the rom-coms and go, oh, I felt chemistry? We hear that all the time. We see it in movies. Is there anything to that? Is there any legitimacy to it? Is there anything that says anything about that? Or is it just someone invading your space and you get very angry? Believe it or not, in 1972 at the University of San Francisco, a professor of psychology by the name of Colin Silverthorne did experiments on touching of strangers. I know what you're thinking. This sounds so unethical. Did he just walk around campus and go, I touch you, I'm not touching you? No. What he did, it was kind of unique. He had subjects to come in and to look at photos. And he told them that he was gathering information on the value or the quality of the photos. Were they good? Were they bad? Different things. What they thought about the photos. But, like all things, that's not the real purpose of the experiment. That's what the subjects were told. There's always some type of deception. The real purpose was to determine whether being touched by the researcher would translate into greater appreciation of whatever they were viewing. So, during the experiment, what he would do, the experimenter would pretend to adjust the focus of the slide projector. That's how the experiment is, slide projector, but he'd adjust the focus. And so he'd reach over, and when he did, he would just casually place his hand on the subject's shoulder for 3 seconds. Okay? Subjects didn't seem to notice the touch, but in the end, they did give higher marks to pictures seen at the moment of contact, except for one person, and that was a female. Okay? By the end, he found out that people really don't like to be touched, and they don't like strangers touching them. Because even though some of the pictures were rated more positive, most people felt like it was a violation of their personal space. And so we don't like that. However, there is one situation in which touch of a stranger is almost always well received. I know what you're thinking, Doug. Are we going to talk about a massage parlor? Where is that? A restaurant. In 1984, 2 researchers enlisted the help of waitresses at 2 restaurants in Oxford, Mississippi. They wanted to investigate the effects of touch on tipping. When returning the customer their change, the waitress performed one of 3 touch manipulations. 1, they briefly touched the diner's palm while delivering their change. 2, they placed their hand on the customer's shoulder while giving them their change. 3, they didn't touch the person at all. They just laid the change down and left. They did not vary any other aspects of their behavior. You know, they didn't smile when they didn't say anything, touch, or different. They just kept it the same. The only thing that varied was these 3 touches. Not touching the shoulder or the palm. He collected data from 114 diners at the restaurant, and most of them were college students. What he found out was, as you can guess, no touch generated the smallest amount of tips. A touch on the shoulder earned 18% more, and the fleeting touch on the palm, a full 30% more. So clearly, it pays to touch the diners. So what does that really teach us? That we can go out and do stuff and get away with it? No. But it does kind of teach us a couple of things about situation and our perception about things. It also teaches us that if you should lose your job and you have to go back to waiting on tables, there's a few things you can do to increase your tips other than just touching the person on the shoulder or trying to touch their palm. Most of the time we reflect, and most research will point out that you can get more tips by just being friendly, knowing how to interact with the customers, smiling, introducing yourself. A lot of times you'll see a lot of these are used, they'll come up, they'll introduce themselves, they're in a very good mood. One of the other things they show is that you repeat the customer's order back to them. And if you're a female, wearing a flower in your hair actually improves your odds of getting a tip. Bringing candy with the check is a better way to get a tip. And here's a good clue for you: the better the candy, the better the tip. So we've looked at all these things. Even the moon being full or the sun shining has an effect. And one study where they did about tips and the psychology, they did a restaurant that was inside a casino where they could not see out. No matter what was going on outside, whether it was raining, storming, or whatever, this waitress always told them that it was sunny and sun was shining. Excuse me. And most people really enjoyed that, and they gave them more tips. This is just a small area of research about touch and how it affects us and how it affects our perception of others. I'm sure as we go along with this video series and different things that we'll hear a lot more about touch, about why you can't tickle yourself, and all the other strange experiments that give us insight to who we are as unique individuals. As always, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification button because we try to publish new videos on Wednesdays and Fridays, and you want to make sure that you get all these. Like us on Facebook and look us up as Psychthoghts, and enjoy. As always, take care and be on the lookout because psychology is everywhere.